Hi everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Faith Adesayo. I'm a management consultant based in Lagos, Nigeria. I'm currently running a series for early career professionals where I teach actionable steps to take when applying for a job. So things to do before application, during application, and after application. As you might have seen on the title, today's video is about writing a perfect CV with no experience. I think one common myth people think about is I need to have work experience. I don't have it. I've never worked in a place where they paid me or where I was actively employed and given an offer. That's a myth because work experience is not paid experience. My goal by the end of this video is all of you watching this video and taking this step should have a minimum of one page CV that is standard, best in class, and you can use to apply for any job of your dreams. If that seems like something you want, definitely keep on watching. All right, so let's start out with what is a CV and what is not a CV. I think this is very good to clarify for those that might be unawares. A CV is a concise document summarizing your education, your skills, your work experience, and your achievements to showcase to your employer that you are the best person fit for the job. A CV is not a personal biography. It is not a creative writing piece. It is not a document where you tell us about your family history. And one thing I'm going to do by the end of this video is show you a standardized format of a 2024-2025 CV today. So definitely keep on watching. Okay, so we know what's a CV and what is not a CV. Now, a standard CV in 2024 or 2025, because I did my research, should have the following sections. Number one, it should start with having a profile or background information about you. Now, this should include your name in capital letter. It should include your location. Now, one thing people do is they include their home address and where they currently reside. I recently discovered that for security reasons, you don't want to include your specific home address. Limiting it to your state and country would be great. Now, I said I'm Lagos, Nigeria, so my name would come on top, Faith Adeshayo, and then I could put Lagos, Nigeria as my location. This is important because employers check to see if you are able to, come in physically to the office. For example, if I have my head office in Lagos, Nigeria, and you put in your CV that you're currently located in Kwara State, Ilorin, it makes it difficult for me to because I'm like, is this person able to relocate to Lagos because of the job? So you just want to put that to make sure, give assurance to your employer that you're able to come for the job, even maybe when giving the offer. After that, you want to include your email address. I strongly recommend you use a professional email address. Something at baby.com or something at anything unprofessional, please take out of your CV. And finally, include your LinkedIn profile. Now, this is one recent trend we see in CVs today where people include the links to that LinkedIn profile. Like I said, at the end of the video, I'm going to show you I'm actually going to leave it for you to download like a standard format of a CV that you can actually use as a template to create yours. So watch till the end of the video. All right, so that's the first section, your profile. To recap, it's your name, it's your location, it's your email address, it's your LinkedIn profile or website for anything that might be work related to what you're applying for. Please, your CV should not include your pictures, your marriage status, your gender, anything that might come off as you being, I would say, segregative, or you don't want to include that in your CV. That's the first section. I hope that's clear. Let's move on to the second section, which is the educational qualification. Right. On the educational qualification section, what do you want to include? You want to include, first of all, your course of study and your university. So for me, I graduated from Covenant University. I studied economics. So you would see I put like bachelor's of science, economics, Covenant University, right? In the CV template I will be attaching to this video at the end, you would see just how to structure it. But some important things to call out in this section of the CV is number one, you want to highlight the good things either about you, about your course of study, or about your university. For example, like I said, I attended Covenant University. So when I put Covenant University in brackets or parentheses, I would put um best university in Nigeria according to the Times Higher Education ranking, or number 7 university in Africa according to the Times Higher Education ranking. You want to qualify the degree you're currently saying you possess. Now, this gives your employer the assurance that when you say you've graduated with a certain degree, it comes with a standard level of, I would say, I would say it gives credibility. Sorry, that's what I want to say. It gives credibility to your degree. If your university is not one that is, let's say, on the Times Higher Education ranking, you want to maybe qualify your department and say, this department has consistently won award as best department in the university, in university competitions. You want to qualify that your degree, your university, your course of study, there's basically a goodness that comes with it. I hope that makes sense. Right. Other things I put here is under your educational section, you want to include relevant courses, right? And on the screen, you should see a snapshot of what that section should look like. But when I say relevant courses, it's important, and I want to emphasize here because these are common mistakes people make. It's important that the courses you are putting there or including your CV are relevant to the job you're applying for. A practical example is I am applying for the role of an engineer in an oil and gas company. A relevant course could be like drilling engineering, modern trends in, oil drilling and exploration. Things like that shows that number one, they are relevant for the job you're applying to. If you put things about history, about political science, about research, in fact, just because you did it, they in no way add to your performance or the credibility of your CV or making your CV stand out. Rather, they confuse the person assessing it. So you want to ensure that the relevant courses you're including are tailored to the role you're applying for. It's important to note that different roles would require different courses. For example, I was applying for a degree, an advanced degree, that had to do with something around politics, government. And I changed all my relevant courses from things around macroeconomics, economics about the country, because it just wasn't relevant. Rather, I included things around introduction to political science, history of government, things that were related to what I was applying to. I hope that makes sense. The last recommendation I have under the educational section is do not include your primary, secondary school experience, or for those that might not be familiar with those terms, high school experience, except it is significant. I will define significant for you. It makes no sense for me to put in my CV, include in my CV. I went to Dansol High School. That's all. Dansol High School from 2009 to 2015. It doesn't add to your CV. But if you were the best student from GS1 to SS3, or you won a milestone competition in Dancehall High School, and so you want to include Dancehall High School 2009 to 2015 in parentheses as well, first runner up in all science competition from 2009 to 2015. The only reason why you would include your primary or secondary school experience as a university graduate, remember I'm qualifying it, or as a university graduate or a final year student looking to apply for jobs, is if there is something significant and something extra that happened in your primary school that you want to highlight, or your secondary school or high school that you want to highlight. Now, this wraps up our educational section. Upon reviewing the CV, if there are any questions, please leave it in the comment section and I'll answer. Now, let's move to the interesting part of the video, which I think is what you have been waiting for, the work experience section. Right? Remember that your CV is in 6 sections. We've spoken about the profile, the background. We've spoken about the educational section. Now we're moving on to the work experience section. And this part makes me the most excited because it's where most people find or have difficulty in figuring out. Right. Now, some rules apply here. First of all, let's start out with the ground rules on like when working on this section. The first thing you want to keep in mind is your CV should be arranged in a reverse chronological order. What does that mean? You put your most recent work experience on top and you arrange it in that line. A good example for me, I currently work in an MBB firm, right? So I would put the name of my consulting firm, my current role, all the roles that I've occupied in the firm in a descending order, write out everything I want to say before moving on to the role or the job I did before getting this job, right? So think of it as your current role comes first, where you worked before your current role comes next, and then you arrange it in that way. But some of you might say, I have no work experience, I have nothing to put here. Let's move on to that part of the video now. So the way I work, if you've watched my previous video, which I would link somewhere here, is I like giving examples and scenarios to bring these things to life. It doesn't make sense for me to come here and say right without you being able to read it or basically do this without my guidance. So let's go into the fun part of this video. And we're going to have a persona today, Sade. I don't know why I like Sade, but I like Sade. Now, visualize Sade as we're going to be writing, both of us, we're going to be writing Sade's CV together. Now, visualize Sade as a recent graduate of a university in Nigeria. She has not worked in any professional setting. So all through university, she didn't embark on internships, she didn't, work during the summer. She has no professional experience according to her. Let's say she studied economics. I studied economics, so it's easier for me to read it. She studied economics, and basically, what she did during her summer holidays was help her parents out in their supermarkets, right? Or their retail store or wholesale provision store, right? Think of it that way. So I'm going to be referring a lot to Sade in this video. Now, like I said, Sade's most recent experience was activities in the supermarket. What did she do in the supermarket? Number one, she was responsible for all the staff, all the other staff in the supermarket. So she acted as a supervisor or an administrator in the supermarket whenever her parents were not around. That's her first responsibility. Basically, what she did was whenever her parents were not around, she would take charge of the store, of the supermarket. That was what she did. Now, the second thing she did was she spoke directly with wholesalers to negotiate for the best prices you could find in the market, right? So it's basically her, bargaining for best prices. Second thing she did. Third thing she did was at the end of every day, she would calculate the sales. She would, analyze it and help prepare like a daily or weekly report just to, present to her parents at the end of the day on the sales performance in the store. I think these are things that everybody can relate to, right? So those are the things Sade did. Now, how do you frame this in a professional CV that you want to use to apply to a multinational company? How do you frame this? One thing, my saying is, and I say it all the time, work experience does not, in caps, have to be paid experience. The fact that you were not paid for a job does not mean you cannot position it as a work experience. Keep that in mind. Let's use this example now, how you can practically do this thing. The first thing I said was responsible for the daily administration of the store. She was the supervisor in charge. How do I frame this? Now, I'm going to read out from what I wrote. Responsible for the daily administration of a leading superstore in Lagos with X% market share. Now you want to include a bit of numbers in your experience to make it look standard and to just give I call it the vava room of your normal experience. Now you want to call out your market share. This is to give the employer or whoever is reviewing your CV a picture. They can imagine what you're talking about. So think of it, how you can calculate market share. Let's say there are 5 stores on the street, right? And you know that in terms of sales, let's say your store is the second highest. So if there are 5 stores, it's about like 20% market share each, right? If all of you divide it. But you know that people patronize your mom's store. This is me now speaking as Sade. People patronize your store more than they patronize 3 other stores. So let's just say you have about 25 to 30% of the market share. You've done the maths in your head. I can clearly walk you through the logic at which I got the numbers from. I am not lying, right? So I am Shade, and I'm responsible for the daily administration of running a leading superstore in Lagos State with 30% market share in the region or in the district, right? Supervised daily tasks, took in customer feedback to improve store operations, and ensured good standards and ethics were applied across the store. Now, how do I frame Shade's responsibility of running the store in my CV if I was to apply for a job, apologies, with this experience? I would go like this, and I'm reading it out because I wrote it. Responsible for the daily administration of running a leading superstore in Lagos with 25 to 30% market share, supervised daily tasks, took in customer feedback to improve store experience, and ensured good standards and ethics were applied in the store. Full stop. That's one thing I have done under my role as a supervisor or assistant supervisor administrator. You can put the name of the store. Now, how do I think about this? You want to think of what you actually did. What did Shade do? She was responsible for all the other employees. She ensured that, they wore their uniform if there was a uniform to wear. She ensured they came on time. She ensured that when customers gave her feedback of, oh, I would like to, I would prefer if, let's say, your provisions or your beverages were arranged in this particular order versus what it is today. She took in customer feedback and ensured that these changes reflected in the way the store or the items were arranged, inventory was arranged in the store, right? And this helped improve overall customer experience, boosting sales by 10% or 20%. Now, this makes your employer think of number one, you're able to take initiative. Number two, you are able to effectively listen to feedback, act on it, and improve the performance of the organization. At the end of the day, if you really ask me, fancy names on your CV are very important because I have fancy names on my CV, so I'm not going to lie that they are not important. But for those that don't have it, it's not the end of the world, and I'm actually speaking the truth here. It's you, your creativity, and ability to think of what do I have now? What have I done? And how can I package it in a way that it shows my skills, it shows my ability to take initiative, and it shows how I'm able to add value to whatever organization I'm working for. I hope that makes sense. Like I said, we can even create, I might take the effort to actually even create Sade's CV based on everything I've said here. So you see how a CV can actually look like with no work experience. Now let's move on, and I'm trying to rush it so it's not a very long video. Let's move on to the second activity Sade did as the assistant supervisor in our mom's supermarket. She negotiated prices. Remember what we said earlier, negotiated prices. So now how do I frame this in my CV? Negotiated optimal prices or competitive prices. Look at the words I am saying. All she did was tell the wholesaler that, you know what, I am buying 50 cartons of Milo or milk or whatever it is. I'm not going to pay the price of one carton. That's all she did. But how are you able to package this? Follow me. Negotiated competitive prices with leading FMCG distributors across our region, our district, our area to boost profitability of the store. Was able to successfully reduce average price of goods by about 30%, boosting profit margins by 10%. Remember, I included numbers. I quantified the impact of what I did. I used the right words. I didn't put I negotiated prices with Mr. Ali to whatever. No, your packaging, the way you present yourself is very important. I read it again for emphasis. Negotiated competitive prices with leading FMCG distributors to boost profitability of the store. Was able to successfully reduce average prices by 25 to 30%, boosting overall profit margins in the store by about 10 to 15%. What does this show your employer, your future employer? Number one, you are able, number one, it shows your confidence. Because trust me, we're looking at Sade, who is probably in her early to mid 20s, negotiating with top distributors who are probably in their 40s or 50s. It shows your confidence. It shows that you're able to interact well with clients, get what you want, work in the best interest of the organization. If you were the employer, tell me you would not hire this person. All right, let's move on. Now, what I said was she analyzed daily sales, presented the report to her parents to show how the store was performing at the end of the month, week, or whatever frequency they chose. How do you frame this? First of all, I would frame it in two ways. Number one, I put here design systems to reduce overall running cost of the store by 10% by introducing software tools like Excel, there's this common one, SAP or whatever they use in the stores. You do your research and find out what works for you. But maybe all she did was to say, Mommy, we're currently using pen and paper to calculate daily sales. It does not work for us. We need to migrate to Excel, we need to migrate to SAP, whatever it is that works for them. This, and she explains to her parents, with this, you can plot your trend, you can see how performance has been over the years, blah, 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 blah. The way I would put it in my CV if I was Sade was design systems to reduce overall operational cost of the store. I'm not lying because what did I do? If it took me 10 hours before to get the report done, right? And 10 hours, I mean, there's a way you can put maths to everything. You can say, okay, how much does it cost to pay, let's say, the sales accountant or whatever for the month? Divide it by number of hours. If I save you 10 hours, have I not reduced the operational cost of the store, running the store? Have I not? Okay. So I introduced the design systems, right? Maybe you introduced because you didn't necessarily design Microsoft's Excel. So you introduce systems in the store to reduce overall running costs and boost overall efficiency of the store. Yes, you did that. You leverage tools like Excel, SAP to calculate daily profitability and performance, leveraging data trend to select best performing products, improving overall store performance. What do I mean with my big grammar? What do I mean is that when you use Excel, let's say what she did was she used Excel, she used all these tools to see, okay, this product is moving more than this product. And so she then, advised our parent to say, rather than us just stocking up 50 cartons of this, you can then stock up 80 cartons of this. Right? I hope you're following. She designed or introduced systems, introduced data analytical tools to boost profitability. And you know what? Use the sales trend to inform future store decisions. That was what it was, literally just her having a conversation with her parents by the end of the day to say, Mom, I actually looked at her Excel. I think this is something that everyone can do. Like I'm thinking of it's something I can do for my mom's business. Is that just saying, Mom, I looked at the Excel and the way it is, it's like this product moves faster than this product, and I think even because of the new redesign where we put it, it's quite visible to customers. Customers are buying it. Next time when we're speaking to the distributor, please let's order two times what we typically order of this and reduce this other one. It seems that the company is not doing well, so the product is moving out of the market. It was literally just her having a conversation with her parents, and she put it here. My mantra will go back that work experience, my dear, does not have to be paid experience. Okay, so that's me giving an example of Sade's activities. I want to move on to the other parts, but I have examples here of when Sade served as a chief accountant in a church, how you can frame those activities. And when Sade did all that thing. So I really have like a detailed examples. If you know it's something you'd like to see, let me know in the comment section. I can share my notes with you or upload it somewhere that you can have access to. But one thing I'm going to do is at the end of the day, leave a template, a standard template of 2024 CV format you can use, and let's see if we can also put all of Sade's activities in a template as well for you to have access to for free. So keep on watching till the end. All right. So that's the work experience section. We've looked at the background profile, we looked at educational qualification, we looked at work experience. Let's move on to the next one. Leadership experience. Remember that I said your CV is 6 formats, right? Leadership experience is the fourth one. Now, one thing to note is it's important to call out the activities or the features of a leader. I think when writing a CV, let's try not to overthink it. Let's try not to overthink it. Let's not think, oh, you need to have done this and done this big thing. Like, if you demystify and break it down, trust me, you can write a perfect CV that will get you a job. So let's look at leadership experience. I put in my note here. It's important to focus on the qualities of a leader rather than where you actually led or what you actually did. What are the qualities of a leader? You organized, you introduced, you developed, you led, you brought together, you influenced. So let's look at Sade. Sade is a perfect example in this video. Now, Sade served as a class representative in the university. That was what she did. So how do we frame this? What did she do actually as a class representative? So she was a class representative to about 100 students in her department. I'm telling you just what she did. She was a class representative to about 100 students in her department. She ensured that students signed their attendance, submitted their assignment on time, things a normal class representative would do. Then finally, she worked together with lecturers to, when it was time to conduct tests, to give assignments, to, assess projects, she worked together with lecturers to just make sure that everyone was involved and, there was no form of issue. How do you frame this if you were Shadi? I'll put it here as if, and I'm going to say something that I really hope she did because it would be like, brownie points for her. But if she was, let's say, the first female class representative since the university started or for the past 10 years, what I would put here is served as the first female representative in the economics department to over 100 students, acting as their direct voice to express their needs and concerns to lecturers. Students described performance as excellent, and she was nominated 4 times to run for the position consecutively. Apologies for my big grammar, but what do I mean is she was their class rep in 100 level, in 200 level, in 300 level, in 400 level. What does that mean? It means that they enjoyed her so much that they did not change her. So she was nominated 4 consecutive times to serve as the class representative. That's what I meant by my nominated 4 times consecutively. She was a class rep from 100 to 400 level. Are we thinking she served as the first female representative? It shows your employer that wow, you are able to, be a pathfinder, someone that is setting the pace, someone that is leading, blazing the trail. All these things that you would want to see in a leader. You put here that you basically represented the students and helped them to express their direct concerns to leadership. It shows that you are able to be like a team lead or a team captain and you can speak for others that cannot necessarily speak for themselves. That's the first one. Second activity here that Sade did was how I will frame it is organized all administrative tasks of the class, ensuring that attendance was signed as at when due, ensuring effective communication with lecturers, and ensuring implementation of all proposed activities or initiatives from the lecturers. What this meant was, let's say, she ensured that all the activities, attendance in class, They were duly signed. When the lecturer said there was going to be a test, she came to class on time, ensured that people had their pens, their papers, whatever to take the test. She just ensured that there was a smooth implementation path for between lecturers and the students, which is the work of a classroom. You want to put it that way. The final thing is represented the class in all college or faculty activities involving my department to ensure our voices were heard, apologies, and there was fair representation. For me, when I think of leadership experience, is what did I actually do? What did I actually achieve? Did I help to introduce a new activity where I was a leader? Did I help to, improve the way things were being done? You think of what do people actually want to see in a leader and what did I do? All this is important and it does not necessarily have to be Sade's examples. I'm just giving an example here of what she might have thought was seemingly useless or not professional or like, oh, what did I do? I just, did this. How it can be positioned as a work experience or leadership experience. Now, I put here that you want to ensure that you're emphasizing all you achieved in this process, including it could be promoting gender equality, even if you were a guy and all you did was, let's say, there used to be some form of gender discrimination with ladies. If all you did was ensure that every guy or every lady in your class, as a class representative, had equal access to lecturers. All right, so that was it for our leadership experience or leadership qualification. The other two parts are quite easy to do. They should include your awards, skills. So I put here it could be, let's say, the award Sade won as the best class representative in our university. It could have been a leadership fellowship award. Just think of it. Which certificate do you have at home? Did they give you a certificate in church? Did they give you a certificate in mosque? Did they give you a certificate in your whatever? Just think of it. You should have one certificate, at least certificate of recognition, certificate of excellence. So far it's relating to the job, it shouldn't be best dancer. To be fair, even if it's best dancer, I think it's fine, right? This, for me, the essence of this section is to show um your employer that you are a diverse personnel. You are able to function outside of just work. Your life is not just all work every day, every day, every day. It shows that you're interested in sports, you're interested in dancing, you're interested in singing, right? And then the final part of the CV is your volunteering experience. I think this almost everybody should have. Another tip I would give you is, see, if you're applying for a job, another volunteering experience, you don't have anything, you can't think of anywhere you volunteered. If you have at least 1 week between when you're applying for the job and when you need to submit your application, in that 1 week, please go and volunteer somewhere. And I'm really serious. If it's your church, join a service unit. If it's your school, volunteer to be the secretary. Volunteer to be the assistant to a lecturer in your department. Just volunteer for something. This is, for me, is easy. I don't even want to have to help you frame it because it's something you can do between now, when you're watching this video, and when you need to submit your application. Go and volunteer, minimum of 2 things, so you have something to put here. For volunteering, luckily for you, you don't need to put the timelines. If you don't want to, it's fine. And so, like, the organization will not necessarily know that it's yesterday you went to volunteer, but please start volunteering. It's very easy to do, right? So that brings us to the end of our 6 sections in the video. I strongly hope that it's been useful. It contains information that will help you create your perfect stellar CV. Now, I want to talk to you now, just like me talking to you as powers. In as much as everything I have said is good for those that don't have work experience, if you are in a position where you can still get it, apply. Apply. Be willing to work for free. We've established the fact that there's one thing you are leaving this video with is work experience does not have to be paid experience. If you can volunteer in a corporate organization where they might not pay you, but you're able to get the experience you need for the job, do it. if you're able to volunteer in a role, if you're able to apply, even if it's an entry role, even if it's an internship, a summer internship, do it. Because all these things I have said, and I'm being very honest with you, all these things I have said are good, and they can, they at least give you a starting point. But when it's time to compete, those with more work experiences than you might stand a better chance of getting the job. So if you are already a graduate and you don't have it, it's fine. We can still salvage it. Like, it's not the end of the world. But I'm saying for those that still have time to get these professional work experiences, it does make a difference. And that's the truth. That's the honest truth. It does make a difference. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this has been helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Our next video is going to be doing two things. Number one, recent trends in a 2025 CV. 2025 CV. As we move into the new year 2025, we want to ensure that your CV is matching up to standards. And so we're going to be looking at recent trends in its 2025 CV, what's important in the 2025 CV, and then the do's and don'ts of a CV. After which we would then deep dive into cover letters, how to write a perfect cover letter with no experience. If this has been helpful, I shared more examples of this same coming up with ideas in a different video, which you would see here. You should definitely watch it. I think it was actually good. I think I gave more examples there, so you should definitely watch it. Or if you're looking to, maybe you've passed the stage of writing a CV, submitting this first application, and you're going into interview stage, I also made a video on how to ace your interviews, which I would link here. So definitely keep on watching. In the description box I would link access to the most recent CV format I have, and then an example of Sade's CV as well. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.